Good evening and thank you for joining us. Husky Oil says it wants to build a new pipeline to replace the one that leaked into the North Saskatchewan River in 2016. The spill forced Prince Albert and other communities to shut down their water supply on Wednesday. Husky held an open house detailing its plans. The company says the new line would be tougher and better placed than the old one. It would transport blended crude oil to Lloydminster from across the river. The Saskatchewan Environmental Society is hopeful but wants more action.
There's fiber optic temperature monitors that can detect spills. There's vapor sensing technology that can be installed outside the pipeline that can detect spills. One of these options I think should be adopted by Husky is on this new line where it crosses rivers.
The company hopes to start construction in the fall. Alberta wheat growers are stunned by the Japanese ban, which has been placed on Canadian wheat following the discovery of a trace of GMO in a handful of plants in Alberta.
They discovered that they were herbicide tolerant, which is a genetic modification event.
The chair of the Alberta Wheat says the Canadian Food Inspection Agency informed them on Thursday that the plants had been detected last year.
So it was it was 7 plants, so it wasn't in the field. They conducted searches throughout the field or surrounding areas. They did samples of different bins, and they found no evidence of it anywhere else. The Canadian Grain Commission, has been monitoring shipments for years, and they have never found it in any shipments going out.
The ban affects all of Canadian wheat going to Japan. Wheat growers will be looking for a speedy solution.
We're hoping that a resolution will come to quickly. This happened twice before with the Americans, where they found 2 traces. I believe it was 2013 and 2016. And I think it was probably about a month, and then the markets opened up again.
Bender says this is an isolated incident. Also, GMO wheat is not available commercially, and it's not a safety issue. An investigation is ongoing to determine what caused a kitchen fire at a duplex in Lloydminster last night. Around 5:45 Thursday evening, the Lloydminster Fire Department was called to the 5200 block of 35th Street. They arrived to find smoke coming from the duplex, and upon entry, a fire was discovered in the kitchen. One person was home and managed to escape.
Fire department would like to remind residents that it is crucial that they remain with their cooking at all times, as cooking fires have become quite prevalent.
The exact cause of the fire is still unknown. June 15th is World Elder Abuse Prevention Day, which began in 2006 to bring attention to abuse of older adults, and the Pioneer Lodge had a special presentation. There was a tree planting presentation for the awareness and recognition of the day. Events like this are important not only to those at the lodge, but everywhere.
We've found that there are incidents of elder abuse that are happening in our community. We aren't necessarily ready to put a number on it at this point, but we know it's happening. And that's, of course, we know because they've told us. So that's only the ones that have actually spoken out.
This is the first time the lodge has had a ceremony like this.
And I'm still learning about the uniqueness of different kind of pieces of family violence, and elder abuse is one that's always has been talked about less, and we're not really sure why, other than I think probably the people themselves aren't talking about it.
They planted a lilac bush which turns purple, the same color that is used to symbolize the day. Millions of Muslims are gathering at mosques around the world today, celebrating Eid, the marking of the end of the holy month of Ramadan. After a month of fasting from sunup to sundown, Muslims gathered at Baitul Aman Mosque for a sermon and a time of prayer.
Before coming to the mosque and before praying the Eid prayer, they have to do some charity. And this charity is donated to the poor and hungry people. Every single one of them, every single earning member has to do some charity before coming to the prayer.
Azim says Eid is a time to unite the community and also for them to show appreciation for their family, friends, and Canada.
Do special prayer for our country as well, so that it raises its economy, it can stand on its own feet, and may God help this country because it is the most beautiful country of the world.
After the prayer, they spend the day eating food and exchanging gifts with family and friends. Jared Russell's Great Cycle Challenge campaign is once again first among all Canadian riders. The child cancer survivor has raised more than $25,000 thus far in the fight against kids' cancer, including nearly $15,000 from the Wings of Warrior golf tournament. As part of Kick Cancer's Butt yesterday, the Sick Kids Foundation matched nearly $8,000 donated to Russell's campaign. This is on pace to become the best fundraising total in Russell and his family's 3-year history.
Get some awareness out that childhood cancer is still there, and kids are still battling.
We had more community support, and I think a huge part of that was our exposure with Rotary.
The golf tournament featured guest speaker Tom Watson, and there's already ideas for expanding it next year.
A little bit different that's going to offer more people in the community to come out. So if you're not a golfer, what does that look like? Can there be a way that you can support Jared?
The Great Cycle Challenge runs through the end of the month. The Lloydminster Flying Club is gearing up for the annual Father's Day Fly-In Drive-In Breakfast this Sunday, giving dads a unique experience on their special day. Fathers from around Lloydminster will get to experience the gift of flight while flying up to 1,000 feet with their loved ones above the border city.
We load everybody into the airplane and we take off, and we do a sightseeing circuit over top of the city, point out some of the local landmarks. Everybody gets a chance to try and find their house, and then we come back and land the airplane after that.
Watt says the experience is something that some fathers have passed down through the generations.
We have some people that show up on the day of the breakfast that came to it when they were a kid with their dad, and then they get to, follow the family tree, so to speak, and follow in their footsteps and go on the same adventure with their parents. And it's open to anybody. And so whether you've had a chance to be in aviation or around aviation, might be an opportunity for someone to come and try it out.
The Father's Day breakfast starts at 8 o'clock Sunday morning at the Lloydminster Airport. And if Dad prefers to stay on the ground, and then just cruising show and shine rolls into the border city this Saturday. Heather Cleggs has the details in this edition of What's Happening.
I don't know if they've ever had a classic plane at Just Cruisin's Show and Shine, but you never know. This could be the year. Tomorrow is Just Cruisin's annual Show and Shine from 10 until 3 at the Service Sports Center parking lot. They always have a fantastic display of classic cars, classic trucks. They've even had some tractors in the past, and a whole lot of free, fun events for the whole family. They've got the Matchbox races. They've got the make and take area. They've got the NASCAR pit stop area, and a whole lot more. So make sure you check it out tomorrow from 10 until 3. For more details, you can go online, justcruisin.com. Sunday is Father's Day, and you can have a really neat experience with Dad as the Lloydminster Flying Club hosts their annual Fly-In Drive-In Father's Day Breakfast. It's going to be at the Lloydminster Airport. Things will run from 8 a.m. until 11 a.m. They've got delicious food they're going to be serving up, and if you want to go for a flight with Dad, make sure you call Steve in advance to pre-book that airplane ride. I bet you this plane would soar you to great heights, and Keith Urban is soaring to great new heights with his latest album, Graffiti You. It includes the hits Coming Home and also Female. And if you want to win a copy, all you have to do is email your name and daytime phone number to tvcontests@newcap.ca. We want to say thanks to John at Universal Music Canada for setting us up with the music. And after you spent the weekend flying high with Dad, you can head out to Lloydminster Reads on Monday night. It's part of the Arts Without Borders Festival. If you want to get your tickets, you can stop by the Vic Juba Community Theatre box office. Well, whatever you choose to do this weekend, I hope you have a great one. I'm Heather Cleggs, and that's what's happening.
Plant 18 is in the books, and producers are assessing growing conditions going forward. In this week's Agricultural Report, Gerard Lampow visits a grain farmer to see how the crop is progressing.
With seeding season done, there's a small window to catch your breath before spraying season starts. So what's a guy gonna do now?
Go fishing.
Art Parr and his family farm about 4,000 acres of cropland and about 1,000 acres of grass. Producers had a sluggish start to seeding, but were able to get ahead just in time for the rains. He says once the snow melted, it turned out to be one of the earliest springs and way better than last season.
Last year we didn't seed 1,000 acres because we just couldn't get on the land. It was just mush. You know, we were stuck probably 100 and some times.
This year, Parr has seeded only canola.
Just the way our rotations worked, we sold 530 cows back in 09, I believe, and we kind of got into a cereal rotation one year and canola the next, and maybe with the way club root's coming in, it's probably going to come to an end. Just have to change our rotation up.
Parr recommends using clubroot resistant varieties and switching up crop rotations. He has also done well given the grain transportation backlog.
We were okay. We were all, most of our wheat went to Lloydminster in January, and we had no sluggish start, and our barley is still most of it in the bin here, and most of it will get trucked out down south to the feedlots, so shouldn't get any, that won't bother us, I don't think.
Parr will tackle his spraying as he remains hopeful for the growing season.
Well, it's been perfect so far. Seeded kind of nice and dry and completely 180 from last year. Probably seeded more acres than we have in a long time, and lots of moisture to germinate. And our area right here has probably got more rain than anywhere right now, and the plants are coming up. They look beautiful.